Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping straight into the chaotic world of the main man himself with Lobo issue 4. We open up in a total dump of a motel over at Asplac Major. Lobo is sitting around playing a heated game of cards with his dog, and things are getting tense as Lobo yells out, "This ain't no such thing as draw 100 cards. I know it's blank, you space flea sack. That's my point. You're supposed to write the punishment on it." The dog starts barking back as cards fly everywhere in a classic Lobo brawl. But right as they start to get into it, someone knocks on their door. Lobo rips the door open, ready to murder whoever interrupted his game, threatening, "I'm not sure what you're selling, but I promise ya, I ain't the one that's gonna be buying." Standing there, a terrified, trembling alien delivery guy who starts peeing through his ears, managed to squeak out, "Package for Lobo?" Lobo grabs the yellow envelope and instantly his mood flips. He looks at it and says, "Well, I was wrong. I did want some of that Mr. PP Ears had for me. I got my bounty license back and a new job, and this one's a super doozy." Now that the main man is officially back in business, he realizes he looks like a complete bum. He looks in the mirror and decides, time to take care of this situation on my face. And how does Lobo shave? Does he grab a razor? Hell no. He grabs a literal blowtorch and burns his massive beard right off. He even turns to his dog saying, "Yours too, buddy?" To wrap up his stay in the motel, he pulls out a massive flamethrower yelling, "And frag it, let's give this place a cleaning while we're at it." Now, fully suited and rocking his classic look, Lobo bursts out of the exploding motel screaming, "Time to get back to work, ya mangy bastich." He jumps onto his space hog and calls his tech-savvy bug associate named Maynard. Maynard pops on the monitor laughing, "Well, if it ain't that old serpent of Caesarian himself. I ain't heard from you in a squiddle patangle. What's up, ya piece of sheetlet?" Lobo gets straight to the point. "I'm heading to a big smash and grab. Problem is, it's behind a kind of door that's damn near impossible to smash. Was hoping you'd be up for a bit of picking." His friend Maynard is totally down for the gig. He tells Lobo, "If you're good with my usual feat, send me the coordinates, and I'll meet you over there." Lobo locks it in, and Maynard fires up his flying green space truck, blasts off into orbit. The duo arrive at Pink Astra, a massive resort moon that plays host to billions of visitors, ranging from the ultra-privileged to the absolute lowest degenerates in the galaxy. Maynard looks up in disbelief. "The Fortress of Solitude?" Lobo says, "Yep, well, I mean not really, but kinda. It's a cheap knockoff miniature for tourists. Turns out, Big Blue used it as a front to hide an underground Kryptonian storage unit when the OG spot on Earth got too full." Maynard smirks, replying, "So we're breaking into this Fortress of Store-itude? Let's get after it." To get inside this tourist trap undetected, Lobo and Maynard have to take the grossest route possible, through the plumbing. We get this awesome sequential cross-section looking at the facility as Lobo, Maynard, and his dog squeeze, crawl, and wade through twisting toxic sewer pipes, passing right under public restrooms and kitchen staff until they finally drop down in front of the massive vault door marked AC1. Lobo looks at the massive reinforced doors and asks, "You think you're gonna crack into this with that little old thing?" Maynard replies, "Yup. A few years back, I got my hands on some Kryptonian tech and rigged this up. I just gotta give it a pull, and this little old thing becomes a big old son of a bastich." The tiny device expands into a massive, glowing Kryptonian laser drill. Lobo, with a massive grin, says, "Now that's more fragging like it." Maynard triggers the machine and yells, "Let's pick some ice." Laser drill absolutely melts the vault door. As the smoke clears, Lobo murmurs, "Huh? I figured a bunch of fortress bots would be ready to fruck us up." But right as the melted metal falls away, the darkness inside the vault begins to shift. Suddenly, a massive swarm of terrifying red-eyed security drones surge forward out of the opening. Lobo's eyes narrow as he locks his sights on the incoming horde, simply saying, "There they are." Lobo, his dog, and Maynard are knee-deep in a literal sea of smashed security bots. Guns are blazing, metal is flying, and Maynard is already starting to regret his life choices as he yells out, "Damn, Lobo, you got me out here fighting like I'm 400 years old again. I ain't built for this kind of activity anymore, especially when you still ain't even told me what we're meant to be stealing." Lobo, blasting away, casually replies, "Some box full of crows." Maynard Crows, like the Earthbirds? They're in a box? Lobo just fires back and tells him, if your dung beetle looking self wants to shut up and lock in, we'll both find out what exactly it is pretty quick like. Once the bots are completely cleared out, Lobo starts looking around the vault room again, saying, all right, time to find the... But he gets completely cut off by his dog barking its absolute head off. Lobo starts to lose his mind. For the love of space dolphins, would you please stop your yapping? I'm gonna break that don't kill the dog rule if you can't figure a way to lock the frag in and stop barking. Maynard slowly turns around and sees something staring back at them. He taps Lobo on the shoulder, wide-eyed, and mutters, you're gonna want to turn around, bud. Lobo, entirely clueless, asks, and why would I want to do that? Lobo turns around, and standing right there with their arms crossed is Supergirl herself with her dog Krypto. She looks down at them and says, hey guys, what you up to? Lobo, being the incredible arrogant bastard that he is, doesn't even flinch. He smiles and mocks her, saying, well, if it ain't the galaxy's favorite Kryptonian. Karen and her little dog too. We were just about to steal from your little off-campus storage unit here. You're good with that, right? Supergirl cracks a smile and tells him, well, while I'm not thrilled, I'm not mad. I skipped my workouts the last few days and I was feeling a little bad about it. You seem like a great reason to get back on the horse. Lobo starts to leer, responding, I ain't never been called a horse, but you can definitely, but before he can finish his sentence, Supergirl cuts him off, firing heat vision beams directly at his head. Supergirl's eyes are still glowing red as she admits, I regretted all those words the second they came out of my mouth. Can we just get to the fight? Lobo winds up yelling, I thought you'd never ask. She flies directly at him, letting him know it was a rhetorical question. The main man mutters, I don't even know what that means. Before he can even process the word, Supergirl connects with an absolute devastating punch straight to his jaw. Brawl is officially on. Blows are being traded back and forth. Lobo, trying to shake off the impact of her crazy strength, decides to open his big mouth again. He sneers, you hit like a fragging girl. Supergirl looks right at him, her eyes completely flaring up as she fires an absolute massive blast of heat vision directly into his chest. She yells, you bet your butt I do. Lobo gets launched back by the blast but manages to recover. He comes in swinging his massive metal chains through the air to catch her off guard. He grins, I ain't gonna lie, that was a good one. What are you doing after this? Supergirl doesn't even dodge the chains. She crosses her arms, letting the heavy chains wrap perfectly around. She looks at him with a smirk and says, oh, I thought I'd take you for a spin. She then lifts Lobo completely off his feet by the chains and starts swinging him around like a rag doll. Just as Supergirl is flinging Lobo, the local authorities arrive. A squad of alien resort security guards burst in the vault, screaming, freeze! Supergirl instantly flips the switch from heavy hitter to innocent young teenager, putting her hands up awkwardly, stammering, hey, what can we do with you for? The lead guard glares at the situation and asks, are you two responsible for these creatures, pointing directly at their dogs? Supergirl throws the main man right under the bus as she says, well, I imagine this giant butt barnacle isn't all that responsible for anything, but yes, one of them is my dog. Lobo drags himself up, unfazed, says, she's not incorrect. What's the problem, copper? The officer sighs, stating that while the two powerhouses were busy beating the trash out of each other, their pets were running amongst the public. Continues, and let me tell you, they were causing more than just a little trouble. We get this chaotic splash page showing Krypto and Lobo's dog completely wrecking the entire tourist resort. Crystals are shattering, fires are burning, explosions are ripping through the background, and tourists are running for their absolute lives. They both look down and mutter, frag me. Naturally, the blame game begins immediately as Supergirl starts yelling, this is all your fault for bringing that degenerate dog. Lobo fires back, I don't know what degenerate means, but it feels more like some more of your Karen bullskirt, and I don't appreciate it. Supergirl, don't act like you know what appreciate means either, you stupid-headed dummy. From there, guys, this epic cosmic rivalry completely devolves into a little playground argument. Before Supergirl gets her another word in, the guards blast both of them with a heavy-duty freezer ray, locking Supergirl and Lobo into solid blocks of ice. Meanwhile, Maynard casually strolls away in the background, wearing a stolen tourist jacket, as the exhausted guard mutters, today was supposed to be my day off. Close out with our heroes locked up tight behind bars in a containment cell. They're surrounded by confiscated junk. Even in prison, though, the bickering does not stop. As Supergirl starts it, "You know this is your fault." "Nope, it's yours, Karen." She admits, "I don't get that burn." "I'm not sure I do either, but it feels like a thing." As she says, "You're the worst." And Lobo proudly owns it as he says, 100%. And this is the end of the issue, guys. Let me know what you guys think of this new Lobo run so far. Do me a huge favor, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a review. Thanks for hanging out at the lounge, and I'll catch you on the next one.